Are you ready to get connected and aligned with your true self? Are you ready to find out who you truly are? This is going to be an absolutely epic training. I'm going to give you some real depth here into what I call connecting with yourself, or the self-alignment process. And this is something I have been on this journey for a long time. I started my personal development journey over 13 years ago. That was when I got serious about consuming books, going to seminars, and really diving deep inside and figuring out who I am. And it took about 8 years of that process before something really clicked. And just over 4 years ago, something really clicked. And I found out so much more about myself than I ever knew possible. And that's what I'm going to share with you here, is there is so much more to you, to who you truly are, than you can possibly imagine. And this is going to be a really deep training for you if you have been on this personal development journey for a while, but maybe you just don't quite feel like you're in alignment yet. We're going to go really deep into this, and there's going to be so much for you. But there's also going to be so much in this for you if you are a complete beginner and you've never heard any of this stuff before. I'm going to break it down for you really, really simply, in a way that anybody can understand. This is one of my gifts, is taking these big, like, complex things and just bringing them into this reality, into a way that anybody can understand. So if you're ready and you're excited, you're going to need a few things. You will need a pen, you'll need some paper. I'm going to give you the best of what I know. There's no holding back for the whole training. I'm just going to give you everything that I can. So make sure you have that. Also, no distractions. Turn off your phone and make sure you're in a place where you won't be disturbed, because we're actually going to do an incredibly deep process, which I'll share with you a little bit later on. But this is about activating and awakening some of those gifts and some of those abilities and some of those strengths that you have that maybe have been left dormant for a while. And this is what happens with a lot of people. When we're kids, we're like superheroes. We believe we can do anything, and then bit by bit, piece by piece, over our lifetime, we just get knocked down, we get conditioned, we get tamed, and we become this smaller and smaller version of ourselves. So we're going to do this process that will just blow all of that out of the water. And I'll explain more about that later. There will be a few side effects from taking part in this training. One of them, you will get to know more about yourself than maybe you've ever known before. So just be warned, be aware that your life will never be the same again after you watch this. And I say that from all my truth. I know what is coming, and this changed my life, and I know it can change yours. And I use this on my clients. I have clients all over the world that I work with one-on-one and different online courses, and we run retreats, and this stuff is next level. Second side effect is, once you know who you are, you're going to then want to express that. This training is really going to give you an invitation to be more of who you are, to express the fullness of who you are. And this is something that can be challenging for a lot of people, because we're so used to playing small. We're so used to fitting in and blending in and dimming our light so we don't offend other people. Let me know if that is something that you have had to deal with. Just comment below. Let me know if you've ever had to dim yourself because you thought you were too bright and you didn't want to offend people, or maybe people told you you were an inconvenience, or maybe they told you you were too much. Well, this is where we are going to just shine as brightly as we can. And here's the thing. When you shine bright, you will attract other shiny people. They will see your shine and they'll go, wow, you're shiny like me. Let's come play together. But if you don't dare to shine, then how will those other shiny people find you? And maybe you've been attracting mediocre people. Maybe you've been attracting people that you don't quite resonate with, or situations, or maybe you're not getting all those opportunities. Maybe you're not manifesting the things that you want, but maybe it's because you're not playing full out and you're not really showing people who you truly are. And I can only say this because this was me for 27 years of my life, playing small and trying to fit in to somebody else's plan. Now, you might be thinking, who on earth is this guy telling me to play full out? So I'd love to just share a little bit about myself, and hopefully this will give you some context. So my name is Luke Scott III. I am an international speaker. I am a TV show host. I'm a spiritual mentor, and I travel all around the world just helping people do two things. Firstly, I help people get really connected with who they are. And secondly, once they know who they are, I teach them how to express themselves. And this is where it gets really fun, because I actually run a public speaking academy. So I mentor people on how to become amazing public speakers. So this can be on stage, this can be on camera. This is a way to just get your energy out there, to show the people, show the world who you are. And it is also the #1 fear in the world. Let me know how you feel about public speaking. Are you afraid of public speaking? Do you have some nervousness, or are you ready to become a great public speaker? Because I'd love, love, love to show you how to do that. That's a different training. I've got lots of different trainings on my YouTube channel that you can check out. And if you're interested in public speaking, just comment below, say, I'd love to know more about public speaking, and I'll send you all the details. So that's part of the self-expression. Now, I also run dancing workshops. We also run singing workshops. We also run ceremonies. And I have a second business. So the Public Speaking Academy is called the Standout Speakers Academy. Standout Speakers, if you want to check that out online. And the second business I run is called the Academy of Conscious Sexuality. So this is where we teach people how to express their sexual selves, how to fully live their sexual truth, whatever that is, because most people are having unconscious, mediocre sex. And your sexual energy is your creation energy. This is the energy that creates worlds. This is what flows through you. And if you're stagnant or stuck sexually, then that shows often in every other area of your life. And if you're already playing pretty full out, just imagine how powerful you can be with that. And so when it comes to self-expression, this has been a journey for me. I love doing this. I used to do theater and plays and musicals, but then I stopped. And the reason why I stopped is because I got bullied. I allowed other people to bully me and make me feel less, because they told me that what I was doing was gay, was for girls, made me less of a man, that they didn't want to be my friend if I was singing and dancing and acting on stage. And so I gave up something that I loved to please other people. And interestingly, none of those people are now in my life. Let me know if you've had a similar journey. And it's only recently that I'm now stepping back into this performer. I saw this vision. I have this incredible gift when I do meditations. When I'm really connected, I can see visions so clearly, just like a movie. And every single one of you can do this. And I'll actually teach you how to do this. Not in this particular training, but in another training, I show you exactly how to do this. It's called future visioning. And so you can really connect with different versions of reality. You can see them like visions. This might sound crazy, but just bear with me. So I saw this vision of me on stage, the O2 Arena in London, 20,000 people. And I wasn't speaking, I was actually performing. I was actually playing guitar and singing, and hadn't played guitar properly since high school. And so I started learning again, and this is really important. And I started going to singing workshops because it felt really exciting. So whatever your vision is, you must take the steps. And since I started doing this, just everything in my life is better because I'm starting to live my truth again. And I know I've still got a long way to go to be ready for the O2 Arena, but it's really exciting for me. And I wrote a song and then I performed it live to all my social media channels, which was kind of crazy for me anyway. But it was what wanted to come through in that moment. So whatever it is that you are expressed with, however you express yourself, I want you just to know that it's okay, and maybe just feel into what did you love to do when you were a kid. And I have a whole training with slides and everything we're going to go through, but I'd love to just sing a little for you. And if you don't want to hear me sing, you can just fast forward 1 minute. This is a song I wrote, and I'm not saying it's perfect. It just makes me feel good when I sing it. So here we go. I'd love to just share this with you just to make myself a bit vulnerable. This isn't perfected. I'm still a complete newbie on guitar, so forgive the guitar playing. But expressing ourselves isn't about being perfect. It's about just showing up, and whatever that looks like, whatever that feels like. So here we go. And so I said, baby, I know that you love me. And so I said, maybe it's meant to be. So say you love me, baby. Tell me I'm not crazy. 'Cause when I'm with you, lady, you're all I see. Oh, I know I love you, baby. Loving you feels so free. And now I see clearly. It's destiny. So that's a bit of fun. I would love to know, how do you express yourself creatively? Are you a painter? Are you a singer? Are you a writer? Are you a dancer? Do you do comedy? Are you not sure yet who you are, what creative expressions you like? Like, there's so many ways that you can express yourself. And this is just the way that I'm playing. So if this is sounding good for you, strap yourself in, because we are about to go deep into this. Now, this is a whole 4-week program that I run called Connect with Yourself. And I'm going to condense it into everything I can for you in the next hour or so. And then we'll do this really deep process. And at the end, I'll share with you how you can get deeper knowledge in this. If you want to take it to that next level, I would love for us to work together and go really, really deep and transform your whole life. But I'm going to give you everything I possibly can in this training right now. So get ready, pen and paper, and let's do this. I'll share my presentation with you now. Let me know if you're excited. Let me know if you're feeling this. Let's go. So this is the Connect with Yourself 4-week self-alignment program. I'm going to give you a real deep overview now of these things. And my intention is that by the end of this training, your life will never be the same. You'll be able to take this stuff and use it, apply it in your life to have massive results. And when I say massive results, I mean this can transform your health. This can transform your relationships. This can transform your business. Like when you are really connected with your true self, things flow. And flow is an incredible place to be. Now, there are going to be some concepts in this that might get quite deep for you. I am a very logical guy. I love physics. I love quantum mechanics. I'm very scientific, but I'm also quite spiritual. And I love combining the two because science and spirituality for me are two sides of the same coin. So if you are very spiritual, hang in there with the science and you'll see it's the same. And if you're very scientific, hang in there with the spirituality and you will see it is the same thing. And I would love to debate any of this stuff with you. If you are curious, I can back all of this stuff up with amazing evidence. It's all proven now. You see, science is catching up with spirituality. And it's a really, really beautiful process. So what is the Connect with Yourself program? How does it work? Well, the first thing that we have to really understand is what is your self? Because most people have no idea what it is. And you might have heard of self-love. And self-love is a great thing and we all need to love ourselves more. But what do we do when we practice self-love? Well, most people might run themselves a bubble bath. Maybe they go to the gym. And that's cool. Maybe they have a movie day and they just pull the duvet over or get in their comfy pajamas and just eat their favorite foods. That's cool. That's just looking after your physical self though. And there's actually 4 aspects of our self. And this is something I've come to learn that completely changed the way I looked at my life. And all of these 4 aspects make up your true self. And so what are these 4 aspects? Well, we're talking about your physical self, your mental self, your emotional self, and your spiritual self. So let me just explain what these are. Your physical self, this is your body. This is what you can touch. And most people know how to take care of their physical self, but most people also don't do it. I like to think of our physical self as our vehicle. So I talk a lot about this in my book. So my book is called Find Your Truth. I go deep, deep, deep into all these processes and protocols you can do for all of this. And this is actually where this content came from my book. It took me 2 years to write this book. It was channeled in the most crazy way. You know, I just sit down at the laptop and my fingers are just typing themselves, and then afterwards you read it back and you're like, wow, it's amazing. And writing is a really great way of expressing myself. So physical body, it's like a vehicle. It's a sports car. And what kind of fuel would you put in a top of the range sports car? You're going to put the best fuel you can, right? Because if you put junk in it, if you put crap fuel in your supercar, you know it's going to break. But people do this with their physical bodies. We treat it so badly, and then we wonder why we get dis-ease. And so with our physical self, we talk about what we call optimizing our physical self. Now, optimizing the physical self, this is all about a few things. It's optimizing our food, it's optimizing our breathing, it's optimizing our water, it's optimizing our exercise. It's basically doing what we can to make sure our physical vessel has as much capacity to store energy as possible. Because the more energy you can hold, the more energy you have to use for your manifestations. Maybe you never thought about that before. Think about it like you are a battery. Your body is like a big battery, and it has a certain capacity for how much charge it can hold. You can increase this charge by getting more fit, by eating the right foods, by drinking the right kind of water, by detoxing your body, by cleansing yourself. Most people, some people say up to 70% of people, have these negative parasites that live inside their body, and they literally suck energy out of you. Literally suck energy out of you. And these parasites, they thrive on things like sugar. And this is why we get a lot of cravings, because they have their own consciousness. They're very aware, and they can make us do things. So we have to detox our body. And how do you do that? Well, if you're not eating junk food, these things can't survive. If you make your body alkaline, this is really important. If you alkalize your body, stop eating acidic foods and drinks, these things can't survive. Dis-ease thrives in an acidic environment. And we get very acidic when we're stressed, when we don't spend time in nature, when we live in big cities, when we eat poor quality foods, and when we don't exercise. So when you start practicing how to alkalize yourself, this is using breath work. This is by getting out in nature. This is by eating alkalizing foods. This is by drinking best quality water. You'll see your whole life will change. You'll get rid of these parasites. There's other things that we can do too. Let me know if this is making any sense for you, by the way. This is just physical, right? We're just going into physical right now. There's so much to this. But you need to start getting really serious about how you treat your vehicle if you want to be a powerful manifester. Because the more energy you can hold in your body, the more light you can hold in your body, the more powerful you will be. I'd just love for you just to take a moment just to imagine. Just close your eyes if it's safe to do so. Breathe deeply in your body. And just feel how powerful your body feels right now. And if you were to give your body a score out of 100, where 100 is the absolute maximum power you can hold, think like Jesus level power, okay? You can literally transform things with your beingness. How much power do you think your body can hold right now? How much energy? If you were to give yourself a score out of 100. Amazing. Just be honest, whatever the first thing that comes up is. Great. And now we're just going to use our imagination. I just want you to feel this. Our brain and our body don't know the difference between what we imagine and what is real. So if you imagine something happening, then it does really happen. It releases all the same chemicals, all the same things in our body as when it really happens. So if you can imagine for me now, just breathe deeply into your body. And out. Make sure when you breathe as well, breathe deep down into your abdomen. This is how we're supposed to breathe, deep abdominal breathing. It's the natural way for us to breathe. I want you to imagine now, whatever your score was out of 100, I want you to imagine what you'd feel like if you added another 10 to it. How powerful would you feel? What would it feel like to be 10% more powerful? So an extra 10 out of 100, just to add that extra 10 on. Feel what that would feel like. How would you sit? How would you be? What would your posture be like if you had all that extra power? If you could hold that extra power? Just imagine now you can breathe in light. Imagine you can just breathe in energy from all around, from the earth, from the sun, from the divine, whatever you believe in. Just imagine you can breathe in more energy now from all directions. Imagine it coming into your cells, into your DNA, upgrading you, activating you so you can hold more power. Feel what that feels like now. To know that if you choose for it to be, this can be your new normal. Just imagine, how would you show up differently? How will your life be different if you have this extra power all the time? This extra energy. Amazing. When you're ready, just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, come back into your body, open your eyes. Something here with our physical energy is we have to just build this up gradually. This is why it's a 4-week program, because if we just overload ourselves, imagine you're like a light bulb, okay? You're a light bulb that can hold 60 watts, let's say. And if you then put 1,000 watts through that light bulb, what will happen? It will blow, right? So we have to build up the amount of light, of energy that you can hold gradually. And this is what we do over the program. So like I said, we go into nutrition, exercise, we do breath work together to alkalize our bodies. We optimize every aspect, and we'll help get rid of those parasites. We'll help cleanse ourselves so that you can be in the tip-top shape and be the supercar that you are. I would love to know if you are still with me. Let me know if you're enjoying this. Let me know if you are learning something. Just comment below and let me know how you're feeling at this stage. Interaction is really important. I will be able to go through and see all the different comments, and I love for you to take part in this, because what happens, I was a sales coach and a sales trainer for a huge corporate company, so a $2 billion company, 16,000 employees. We had 2,000 employees just in one of our offices. And I was their main sales coach and trainer for the division that I was in. So I know how to coach people. This is why I'm such a great speaker. And this is why in our workshops and our retreats, we can really get people deep results, because I've been doing this for so long. And when you engage, when you participate, when you answer questions, it engages your brain in a whole different way. And this information will sink into your subconscious on a much deeper level. So let me know if you're ready to carry on. Say yes, like I am ready, and let's carry on this deep dive training. So that's physical skills. That's mastering and optimizing our physical self. Now we're talking about our mental self, understanding our mental self. And this is a big one. I call this mastering our mind. And some of you will know this already and some of you won't, but this completely blew my mind, literally, when I learned that I am not my brain, that my brain is different to my mind. I thought I was my brain. You see, we have these thoughts all the time. I had these voices that speak to me in my head, and I thought that was me. That is not you. Your brain is a big chunk of protein and water. This is what our brain is. It's useless by itself. It doesn't do anything unless there's consciousness in there, unless there's energy flowing through it. It's just a chunk of protein and water. But my whole life I identified as being my mind. And our brain is just like the supercomputer. It's the most powerful supercomputer in the world. Still, there is no computer on earth at the time of me recording this that is more powerful than the human brain. Like, it is crazy how it works. But that's not who you are. Once we can separate, once we can create some separation between our thoughts and ourself. We start to witness our thoughts, and we can see that we are not our thoughts. Thoughts happen. Our brains are here to keep us safe so we can survive. They're always reacting. It's automatically reacting to danger, to threats. You know, when caveman times a snake would jump out, you don't have time to think. You have to be instant. And those judgments that you have in your head, those negative comments, often mine was negative, used to be, it's automatic. That's not who you are. And you'll get to know this as you start to practice more. One of the tools that I use to create this space is called meditation. I'm sure many of you have already dabbled with meditation. Maybe you've gotten quite good at it. But once you master meditation, everything in your life will change, because you create this distance and you can see and observe and just witness thoughts as they arrive, especially the negative ones. And you just know that's not you. It's very fascinating. And once you know it's not you, it frees you up so much, because I thought, honestly, I thought I was so horrible. You know, I would see someone in public, or I'd go on public transport and I'd instantly start judging them. And I thought that was me being judgmental, but it's not. It's that automatic reaction in your brain to keep you safe, because it needs to label them. Is this person a threat? Do I need to worry about them? What do I need to worry about them? It's instant. I'd love to invite you now to take a deep breath in and out. Can you feel the freedom that comes from knowing that is not you? We also have different kinds of mind. So we have our brain, right? The thoughts. We also have a heart mind. There's a great institute called the Institute of Heart Math. It's very scientific. They've been studying the human heart for a long time. And in our heart, we have 40,000 cells that are called sensory neurites. Now, you don't need to worry about that, but what does that mean? These 40,000 cells, these sensory neurites, they think, learn, and act independently of each other, just like the neurons in our brain. And so what does this mean? This means your heart actually thinks, learns, and acts independently. And actually, these sensory neurites have perfect memory recall. Because what you store in your heart memory doesn't go through the filter of your ego. And your ego is here to keep you small and keep you safe. So it distorts things, it twists things. It puts it's like a lens. Like, things happen, they come through this lens of your ego, and then it stores them in your memory. But it's not the real truth. Your heart memory stores the real truth. And so when people say drop into your heart, what they're really meaning, and this is something you can learn with practice, is to drop into your heart memory, connect with the memories in here. Because our cells and our DNA holds memories. We are pure energetic beings. We are beings of pure energy. That is just physics. When you zoom in on us, we are made of 99.9999999% empty space. That's who we are. And it's very interesting. If you actually took out all the empty space out of our physical bodies, our actual mass would be smaller than a single speck of dust. That's how much actual physical mass we have. So we are pure energetic beings. And this is really important to understand, that we can tap into the memories that are stored in this energy, in our cells, in our DNA. I know this is a lot. I told you this would be a deep dive. You might need to watch this a few times for this really to sink in, because this might be like completely paradigm shifting for you. Or maybe you've heard this before, but maybe just not quite in this way. And I'd love to invite you now, if you want to just take a little drink of water. Just take a moment and just know that this process of distancing yourself from your thoughts, creating this separation, like being the witness, observing everything. This is something you practice through meditation. And over the 4-week program, we do all sorts of different kinds of meditations. We do silent meditations to teach you how to meditate in silence. We also do the guided meditation. So this is where we take you on a journey, and we're actually going to do a process, which is a type of guided meditation, very shortly. And we also do sound meditations, and sound meditations are where we use sounds and frequencies to shift our DNA, because our DNA is always changing. People think it's solid, but remember, 99.99999% empty space. We're just pure energy. So your DNA is actually shifting all the time. And for those of you who know, your DNA is like a code that defines a lot of the characteristics about you physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And a lot of people think it's fixed, but it's actually not. You can activate this DNA, you can awaken this DNA, and we're going to talk more about this later. But in terms of your mind, so you have your brain and this thoughts, you have your heart mind, your gut also has its own mind. I have an incredible friend who is a microbiologist. She studies all of this deep, deep, deep stuff. And she told me about my gut mind, because in your gut mind, you have trillions of living organisms that all have their own consciousness, that all have their own desires, and they can make you do things just like these parasites. So when you reach for that cookie or that really sugary thing, just check in with yourself. Do you really want that? Or is this a craving that's being given to you by these beings that live in your gut? And it's fascinating. Let me know if that has blown your mind. Let me know what your top takeaway from that was, or maybe there's something that you'd love to know more about. Please do ask any questions. I'd love to hear what you're thinking as we go through. That's mental self. Let's move on. I know this is deep. I told you this was going to be deep. I always deliver on what I say, and this is me intentionally giving you so much because I want you just to get a little tiny peek at what is possible for you. And this is just scratching the surface. Like, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Obviously, in this short time, I can only give you so much, which is why we do like a whole 4-week program. But you can also check out my book, which is called Find Your Truth. And I'm just here as a vessel. This stuff comes through me. I don't script this. I just here with an intention to give you exactly what you need that's in your highest and best. And I'm just here to share the fullness of who I am with you. And I hope it resonates. And maybe some parts you'll really like and you'll keep those and you'll go research them. Maybe some parts they're just not for you right now. Like, that's totally okay. Everyone's at different stages in their journey, and there's no such thing as the truth. I'm just sharing with you my version of the truth, but your version of the truth is just as valid. And when we start to really study and learn other people's version of the truth, it's not to just blindly follow what they say. I always say, question everything. This is the secret of the masters, the great masters. They always question everything. Don't blindly follow what I tell you or what anybody tells you. Like, find your own truth. Connect with yourself and find what is true for you. Okay, I'm gonna ask you now just to have a little wiggle around. I know we're halfway through this presentation on the self, and we're gonna go into the next 2 now. So if you just wanna have a little wiggle, just have a little shake, whatever you need to do. Take a deep breath, get connected. Let's move on. Understanding our emotional self. This was a big one for me. I grew up in a place where I didn't feel safe to express my emotions. When I was a kid, actually, I used to cry a lot. I was very emotional. I got picked on quite severely for that. I was called all sorts of names and made to feel really wrong about crying when I felt sad or being angry, or our parents don't intentionally try and mess us up, right? They just do the best that they can with what they know. And in a world where people often can take advantage of people who are vulnerable, they just try and protect you by telling you not to be vulnerable. But that's not the world I want to live in. I want to live in a world where people can share their vulnerability, where people can share their truth, where you can cry when you're sad, and instead of mocking you, people just let you process your emotions, because this is so important. Emotions, I like to think of it as energy in motion. Emotion, energy in motion. What do little kids do when they're upset? They have a tantrum. They scream, they cry, they bang their feet on the floor, they throw things around, and then what happens 5 minutes later? They're absolutely fine. They completely forgive everyone, and they are back to their loving selves, right? And what do adults do when they're upset? Most of us, we push it down, we deeply push it down, we bottle it up. And the way I think about it is like, you might have heard of the saying of letting off steam, okay? So it's like inside we're building up this frustration or anger or sadness or grief or whatever it is, and you can see bits of steam coming out of the ears, right? And instead of just letting this steam out, we keep it in, and what happens, the steam builds up, and then we just we explode like a volcano, and all hell breaks loose, and we are like a tsunami. We're just destroying everything, our relationships, our job, our health. We just binge, we go out, we do crazy stuff that we end up regretting. And I know this because that was what I did for a long time. I used to abuse alcohol, used to abuse drugs, I used to abuse sex. I would use them all as an escape because I didn't want to feel my feelings. I didn't even know how to feel my feelings. And this led me to a really dark place. I ended up being in a situation where I didn't even want to be here. I was dreading waking up every morning and going to a job that I hated with no sign or means of escape. And it's because I didn't even know what I wanted. I had no idea. And our emotions are our guidance system. Our emotions show us the path. They show us who we truly are. And when we feel great, it's usually because we're on the path. We're aligned with our path. We're in alignment. This is our 4-week self-alignment program. We want to feel joy. We want to feel love. We want to feel connected. We want to feel inspired. We want to feel hopeful. We want to feel peaceful. And this is what is available, but that's not what I was feeling most of the time. Now, are you always going to be sunshine and rainbows? Of course not. Life is a wave. It's about spending most of our time in those good feelings and diving deeply when we feel sadness, when we feel grief, when we feel anger. Dive into it deeply, strategically. Allow yourself to feel those feelings fully because they give you contrast. Every emotion has its purpose. You are never more sure of what you don't want than when you are really pissed off. Like when you are super angry, you know exactly what you don't want, right? Like you are so clear and you express it with the fullness of who you are. Every emotion has its purpose. But you have to be able to give yourself space to feel it. Obviously, if you're in an office and you start having a tantrum and screaming and crying and thumping the table, you're not going to be a part of that organization for very long. So how do you learn tools to control and use your emotions productively? Because anger is Don't you feel so much energy when you're angry? Imagine if you knew how to use that anger productively to manifest, because you can. You can. The law of attraction is always listening. When you tell it, this is what I don't want, it hears you loudly and clearly. But if you keep beating that drum of what you don't want, then like attracts like. Everything is energy. You attract what you are. You're like a you emit anger, you're going to attract more anger. But obviously, if you're angry most of the time, you're going to create more situations like this. Why? And this is really important. You have a physical body. Now, you also have etheric bodies. So you have a thought body. Your thoughts are pure energy. Energy can never be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred. When you think a thought, it emits out and it is there forever. And the thoughts you think often, they collect around you. And very activated people can be susceptible to this, and they can actually see and feel your thought body. And you might be aware of this, like clairvoyance and different kinds of psychics, and people have these abilities now. They've had them for a long time, but so many people have these abilities now. It's all documented, by the way. This is not anything spiritual or woo-woo. The government, the American government, used to use people for remote viewing in the wars, like all the wars. They experimented on these people. It is proven that these psychic abilities exist. They have been used for a long, long time. And actually now, because of the way that the processes work in our laws, you can actually get those files now. And this whole documentary series where people break down the different experiments that the governments have done on people and all the different abilities that they've had. These files are all available in the public domain now. You can go check this out. This is just pure science. So, thought body. You also have an emotional body, your energy. And this energetic body is very powerful because your emotions literally get stored in them. When you push down anger, it gets stored there. It gets stored in your actual physical organs, it gets stored in your cells, it gets stored in your DNA, and it also gets stored in your energy body. And your body always wants to come back to balance. And so what it does is it actually brings you, let's say you have a big store of anger, okay? And every organ holds different energies, but let's say, so you've got this anger, let's say you've got this anger stored, and this can actually turn into physical things like stones in your body, the deep calcified stones that then have to be passed. It's kind of crazy. You really need to process your emotions. So you have this anger, let's say, stored. Now, how can your body get you to release that? Well, it needs you to go into it, because energy can never be created or destroyed. You can't just destroy it. It has to be transferred. This is the law of conservation of energy. And so it will bring you a situation that makes you angry. And its intention is for you to go, oh yeah, I remember this. And you'll tap into that previous anger to then release it. But most of us don't do that. So next time you get made angry or sad or you feel grief, try and connect to your body and feel, where else am I holding this anger, sadness, grief, fear, whatever the feeling is, and release it. Transmute it. Let it go. You will feel so much lighter, because all these emotions that we hold on to, they're like weights pulling us down. And the way I like to think about it is, think that you are like a hot air balloon, okay? You know, in the hot air balloon, you have the basket and the balloon, and then to go higher, you pull the thing and fire shoots up. But if you're weighed down with all this sadness and grief and fear and anxiety and depression and whatever it is that you haven't let go of, it's like these big sandbags just weighing you down. It doesn't matter how hard you pull the fire, how much energy you put into it, you're still weighed down. But if you just let go of that weight, you will just naturally rise. Does this make sense? And once you know how to use your emotions, you can use these for manifestation, because emotions are energy in motion. And the more energy you have, the faster you can manifest things. So when you are manifesting from a place of joy, love, abundance, peace, this is a powerful place to be. But if you're trying to manifest from a place of anger or depression or sadness or grief, you're going to likely attract not great things, because you're not manifesting from the highest possible place. You want to really focus on your manifestations when you're in that high vibrational place. Whew, that was a big one. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about. Actually, I have a whole chapter in my book just about emotions and how you can use this emotional guidance scale. And we spent a whole week on each one of these things in the 4-week self-alignment process, by the way. So we spend a whole week on optimizing our physical self, a whole week on mastering our mind, a whole week on enhancing our emotions. And then we spend a whole week on connecting with our spiritual self. You know, give you a moment just to stretch your legs, take another drink of water. Let me know if that resonated with you about the emotional self. I'd love to know. Is there a particular emotion you feel you really need to let go of? I do these 2-hour energy clearing and activation sessions with my clients. This is where, because doing it by yourself is possible. You absolutely can release these things by yourself, but having a third party there, someone who has tools to shift energy, can be really, really great. So there's so many different energy workers that you can go and find to help you with this. Therapists are okay, but I had a lot of therapy in my past. Therapy only really works on the mental level. It doesn't clear things emotionally. It doesn't clear things from the energetic body. And so when you go to therapy, often you just go around in loops and loops and loops. But when you clear things at the emotional level, at the energetic level, everything changes so fast. And so if you have something really deep you'd love to shift, please do let me know. We can talk about doing a one-on-one sessions. You can just comment saying I'm interested in the one-on-one. Or if it's more personal, you can just message me privately, and I'd love to help you with that. So let's get deep into spiritual self. And those of you who are super scientific and don't believe in spirituality, please do bear with this, because everything I'm going to say is pure science. I hope you understand that everything I've said so far is pure science. I know I haven't gone into like giving you the peer-reviewed journals and stuff, but it's all there. It's all available. You can absolutely find that stuff if you want, very, very easily. Spiritual self. What is this? I didn't used to believe in energy, angels, God, higher power, soul, anything like that. I used to think it was all bullshit. And I had this huge spiritual awakening experience that changed my life. And it came in different stages, but the main stage was after I did this powerful guided meditation that we actually do on the 4-week self-alignment process. We'll go through the exact same meditation. You will see it has the opportunity to completely get you connected spiritually, if you want that, if you're open to that. After I did this meditation, I got this connection to something, like I call it source, or the universe, or God, or my highest self. Like whatever you want to call it, you can call it consciousness, the universal mind, the Tao. There's so many different things you can call it. Once I felt this connection, I just knew, I had a knowingness that there was something much bigger than me out there. There was a plan. We're part of a big plan, and that we all have our roles to play. And this life is like a big movie, and we're all actors and actresses in this movie. It's like a big game that we're playing, like a big multiplayer game. I'm a massive geek, so I love games. And there's a design to this. It's designed. It's code. It's coded like a computer game. Once you connect to this thing that is bigger than all of us, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, that created everything and everyone, whatever you want to call that thing, We all can get a connection to it, and once you do, you can get guided so clearly because it just sees things from a bigger perspective. And this is really important because when we're in our human selves, we can get so immersed in the what isness of what's going on. And when you connect to this divine self, to this universal self, to this highest self, you see things from a bird's eye perspective. You see everything. You see the path, you see the steps you need to take, and it's available to everybody, but you just have to make the time for it, and you have to be open. Now, once you connect to this spiritual self, often things in your life will accelerate. You will activate different gifts and abilities. You will start to manifest things and attract things at such a faster rate. You'll also feel more peaceful. You'll feel more connected. You'll feel more aligned. You'll feel more patient. You'll feel more loving, because this thing for me is pure unconditional love. And once you can tap into that feeling of pure unconditional love, it usually makes me cry. When I do this in my meditations, I'm usually just crying because it just feels so beautiful. I'd love for you now just to take a moment, just feel what it would feel like. Feel if you can feel the feeling of being pure unconditional love. Just close your eyes, take a deep breath. Just see if you can feel what it would feel like to be pure unconditional love. What would that look like in your body if it was to look like something? What would unconditional love look like? What would it feel like? Your work is to expand this feeling of unconditional love. Like when you can be unconditional love, everything changes. But it's very difficult for most people to do. And so the spiritual self, this plan, this planner, whatever you want to call it, changed my whole life, because I realized there's so much more to life than what I was playing at before. I realized how small I was playing. And creativity is a big part of connecting with this spiritual self. Life is like a dance, right? So when you're really immersed in creating, the universe loves creators and the universe loves action takers. You need to do something. You need to be bold, be brave, express yourself, take a chance, do something no one's ever done before. Really put yourself out there on the leading edge. This is where the magic happens. And I know you are destined for this because you are on the leading edge. If you have watched this presentation, if you have been brought here, you are one of the most conscious people on the planet. And you know this, you are one of the most conscious people in your family. You're one of the most conscious people in your community, and you are one of the most conscious people in the whole planet. You are at the very leading edge here, and you are being called to be more of that, because when you are filled up, when you are shining bright, imagine the sun. The sun shines, and because the sun shines, everything in our galaxy, everything in our solar system, everything all around on our planet gets light, gets life. If the sun didn't shine, that wouldn't happen. Or you're like a river, and when a river flows, everything gets water, everything gets nourishment. And when you are flowing, you will just nourish people. You don't need to do anything. You just flow, right? You need to get to this flow state, and then everything will change for you. This connection to nature, to being in alignment with the Tao, with the universal flow, is a game changer. And we're going to do a little process to just connect you with this. So I'd love for you now to just close your eyes for me. Just feel the weight of your body on the floor, on the chair. to take a deep breath in and out. We'll just set an intention that whatever happens now brings you into more alignment with your highest good and with the highest good of all. And if you'd like to call in anyone, anything that you believe in that is working 100% with the light, please do that now. Now just ask that you are surrounded with love, with light, that you have the courage, strength, clarity, wisdom, and insight to face whatever is in your highest good. That you be activated and awakened to the highest possible potential for you at this time with ease and grace. Beautiful. This might be a little weird for you, and all you need to do is just allow your imagination to flow. There's nothing you need to do. Just see what comes up for you. And just remember that your brain and your body don't know the difference between something you imagine and something that's real. So I invite you now just to feel what it would feel like to be a big oak tree with deep roots going deep into the earth, wide and deep. Feel what it would feel like to really be rooted and grounded and connected with the earth. And imagine now your tree is so tall that the branches go all the way up to the center of the universe, connecting you with this beautiful white light. And as you breathe in now, I'd love for you to imagine you can breathe up this energy from the earth through your roots. And you can breathe down this energy from source through your root, through your branches. As you breathe in, you start to fill up with this energy from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. And you breathe this energy into your heart space. And as you breathe in, you might see the lights of different colors. And just set the intention that these energies are exactly what you need now to activate and awaken your cells, your DNA. And every time you breathe in, just feel what it feels like to raise your vibration, to be filled with more light, to hold more energy. And every time you breathe out, just imagine you are releasing anything that doesn't serve you. Just breathe it out, just let it go. Know all those lower energies will be transmuted into pure unconditional love. That's it. As you breathe now into your heart space, just imagine a ball of this beautiful energy in your heart, this energy from the earth, this energy from the divine, merging in your heart space in this beautiful ball of light. And you can see what colors that is for you. Just imagine what that looks like, what that feels like. And imagine now that you can bring your consciousness down into this ball of light. As you bring your consciousness down into this ball of light, you can just imagine you are completely surrounded by it on all sides. And see that it turns into this beautiful white room, this infinitely big white room. You're right there in the middle of it. As you're standing there in this white room, you need to imagine that you can see a wardrobe with a full-length mirror. And as you go up to this wardrobe with the full-length mirror, you can see a reflection in the mirror. And it looks kind of like you, but you notice that there's some differences. And as you look closely, you see this is actually your highest possible self that you're able to imagine at this moment. See what they look like and feel what they feel like. What is this highest version of you? How is their energy? What kind of vibe do you get from them? And as you see this highest version of yourself now, I want you to know they have a message for you. So I invite you to take a deep breath in and out and ask them, what is the message? What do they say? Just trust the first thing that comes through. Always the first thing. Amazing. And I'm going to invite you now to ask your highest self a question. If there is anything you would like guidance on, ask them anything at all. And trust that they'll be able to answer you from this highest possible space. And know that answer can be very specific. If you need more detail, just ask them. Say, please explain in more detail. Incredible. And I want you to know that you can connect with this highest version of yourself anytime. All you need to do is take a deep breath in and out. Close your eyes and just imagine them in front of you, and they will appear whenever you need guidance. You can have a full two-way conversation with them, just like you can with me. I'd love for you now to thank your highest self for coming here today. And see now the white room just slowly starts to fade away as you breathe deeply into your body and come back into your body feeling activated and awakened. Start to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Bring those branches back down and those roots back up. As you bring with you anything that is in your highest and best, we just ask for any final adjustments to be made to you physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. We'll just ask that you're able to integrate these new energies with ease and grace in the exact perfect way. And when you're ready, I invite you just to take a deep breath in, have a nice stretch, and open your eyes. Incredible. I'd love to know how that experience was for you. That's a very short version of one of the processes that we do on the 4-week self-alignment program. We actually go really deep into that connection, and we go on a journey with your highest self. And whether you believe this is imaginary or whether you believe this is real, it really makes no difference. If you think this is your subconscious, great. If you think this is your highest self, great. It makes absolutely no difference. It's really about this energy getting in motion. This is the key. Unblocking, activating, awakening. I'd love to share with you now a bit more about the next steps, because I hope that was deep for you. There's so much more I want to share with you, and you know, you can go off now and you can try and research these things yourself. I did that for 13 years. I've been doing that. But it was only just over 4 years ago, this really clicked into place. And I can share with you in just 4 weeks, everything I've learned, all the deepest things that you need. And so this is why I created this 4-week self-alignment program. So I'm just going to share with you a little bit about this for yourself, or if you know anyone else who might be interested in really deeply connecting with themselves, in activating and awakening their gifts. So what we do in the 4-week program is we go deep into each of these 4 aspects. So we spend 1 whole week connecting with our physical self, optimizing our physical self. We'll be on a diet plan together. We'll be on an exercise plan together. We'll be working on really increasing the amount of energy we can hold to the fullest level. And by the end of the 4 weeks, you will just have new levels of energy you never experienced before. And if you have any illnesses or injuries or aches or pains, I can't say that this will get rid of them, but I can say people have had incredible results from this. If you have diabetes, it is possible to reverse diabetes in just 2 weeks following this plan. This has been done countless times. Migraines can be reversed. There's a study with 84 people who had migraines, and just following what we're going to do in this 4-week program, 78 out of 84 people completely got rid of their migraines. And there's so many other things you can use this for. We'll be going deep into the mental self. We'll spend a whole week on mastering our mind. This is really going to be a lot about meditation, deeply, deeply going into meditation. And over the 4 weeks, you'll just get to really understand those different kinds of meditations and how we can use them. Because when you're able to focus, you will be a powerful manifester. So much more powerful. And when thoughts come that you don't like, you just let them go. Just let them go. Just takes practice. We'll spend a whole week going deep into emotions. This is one of my favorite weeks because this is a game changer. Learning how to use your emotions to manifest. Learning how to use your emotions as a guide to get into alignment. Completely life-changing. And we'll also release a lot of those trapped, stored emotions that you have. We'll do these energy clearing processes to just get rid of it forever, transmute it into pure love, just gone. And then we'll spend a week going deep into the spiritual and energetic self. And this is where we get deeply connected with source, with creator, with whatever that thing is, that whatever you want to call it, completely game changing for all of us. And once you can really connect with this thing, everything will change. Like, this is going to completely radicalize the way you thought about the whole world. One of the most amazing things that will happen as a result of this 4 weeks is you will get new positive habits, and we will reinforce them through consistency. This is a big thing. Forming new habits, rewiring your brain. You have something called neuroplasticity, and you have an ability to rewire the network in your brain, but you also have the ability to connect the neural network in your brain with the neural network in your heart. And we'll do a process of how to do that, because this is how you access things like deep intuition. This is how you access incredible superpowers that you have. And we'll talk more about that. We'll also be holding each other accountable. So we will have an accountability group, and I'm going to explain exactly how that works. And we'll be growing and learning together. And I've put here to shed layers of BS. And BS stands for 2 things. One of them is belief systems, and the other one is written on the screen right now. And this is shedding layers of the bullshit that is stopping you from being the person that you are destined to be. So if this is sounding exciting, let me know in the comments. Say you're excited. Let me know how you're feeling about this. I'm going to explain exactly how it works and what you need to do if you are feeling this, or if you know someone who you think this would be a really good fit for. I'm just here to serve. I have all of this wisdom, and the universe is just using me as a vessel. That's always my intention when I'm writing my book. It's just use me. Let me get this information to the people who need it. And if you've watched this far, I guess you are one of those people who feels a calling to do this deep work. And whether you do this work with me or whether you find someone else, that's totally your decision. But if you feel a pull, if you're feeling like this feels good, and you believe in alignment and that we've come together for a reason, here's exactly how it will work. But before we do that, did you know, this is really interesting, did you know that most human beings see less than 1% of the spectrum, the electromagnetic spectrum? Less than 1%. What does that mean? It means that 99% of what is going on around you right now, you cannot see with your naked eye. Isn't that pretty phenomenal? Did you know that most humans hear less than 3% of the audible spectrum? So that means 97% of what is going on around you right now, you cannot hear. Animals and small children, they can hear a higher percentage. They can hear more of the audible spectrum. So why you have things like dog whistles, right? We're very limited in what we can hear, most people. Did you know that most people only feel a very small percentage of the energies that are around them? Very small. Some people feel more. Some people can feel as soon as they walk into a room, they can just feel the energies of the room. They can look at a picture, they can just feel other people's energies. A lot of people don't even have that ability. But here's the cool thing. Every single one of these things you can develop. Every single one of these things you can learn. And this has been my journey to see more, to hear more, to feel more. And how do we do this? This is one of the coolest things we'll share with you. It's all about activating your DNA. This is what I do with my clients. I love it. DNA activation. Understanding that everything is a pattern, your DNA is a pattern and it's not fixed. It can change and we change it. You change it with every word you say and every thought you think changes your DNA and the DNA of everything around you. So how can you really take charge of this? How can you activate your DNA in a way that is empowering, that accelerates your evolution, that helps you discover your life purpose, that aligns you with your highest mission? Because most people, if they're unhappy, if they're not really feeling aligned right now, it's because they're not on track with their mission. It means they're probably being distracted by something. They're playing small. What else happens when you activate your DNA? You awaken this deep intuition, these psychic gifts, all of these abilities to see more and hear more and feel more. They awaken, and this happens really fast as you allow it. And there's so many different clair abilities. You might have heard of clairvoyance and clairsentience. There's so many that you can activate. And this might sound like science fiction, but this is science fact. This is all documented. You can go check out the government records. They have documented all of these things. They exist. It's for real. And most of us have access to this, but we just don't choose to turn it on. But so many children are being born now. You can look at them up online. So many children are being born with extrasensory gifts. There's an incredible child. She can just look at someone and know what is wrong with them. She does a body scan of them, and then she'll say, this person has an issue with this. Let's say it's their liver. They'll go to the hospital. They'll do the test. Oh, they have a liver problem. Like, how can she know this? So many children are being born now with gifts and abilities from previous incarnations. They can actually relive and tell people about all their different lifetimes that they've lived. Now, again, you might think that this is science fiction or this is something spiritual, past lives, but it's actually just science. Energy is always transferred. So the energy that you are now, that makes up the you-ness, this consciousness, that came from somewhere. Before it was you, it was something else. And you can bring this experience in, and this can be really positive. So some people are just born able to play piano or guitar because they remember it. But you can also bring with you negative past life imprints, and we can clear those and shift those as well. So this is just one of the byproducts of this 4-week program. if this is feeling good for you, but you have to clear things on all the 4 levels. You have to understand the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. So what do? How does it work? We do a group webinar every Monday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. So it's roughly an hour of teaching, and then we set some action points, and then we have 30 minutes of a Q&A, question and answers, for you to really go into that. Now, if you can't make it live, it will be recorded, and then you can ask your questions later. So there'll be a forum for you to ask questions. Do encourage, if you can get there live, that's great. But if you're watching the recording of this, then that's cool too. And all of my programs that I do, I try and record them so I can make it evergreen, so you can access it like this recording that you're watching right now. I don't want people to just have to be able to tune in live. I know there are a lot of benefits to that. So if you are not able to come live, then you can also do the replays and get full benefits and ask the questions later. So every Monday, group webinar. Every Thursday, there's another group webinar from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. This time's a bit different. There's a bit less teaching and there's a bit more interaction. And there's also sharing and accountability. This is key. If any of you have ever tried to have a New Year's resolution, you'll know that 90% of people fail and stop their resolution within the first 2 weeks, right? Why? Because they don't have accountability. They're not supported in it. And this is why we create this group program where you can be supported with all the other people who are on the program. Accountability is a game changer. For me, when I work out, I need to have a gym buddy. I work so much harder. When it comes to business, I need a mentor. I need a coach. Like, I love having someone to guide me through the process and kick my ass when I need it. Let me know if you sometimes need an ass kicking. Just comment below. Say, I sometimes need an ass kicking. Like, most people do. There's very few people who are able to fully self-motivate themselves. What else do we do? This is the big one, okay? Every morning for the 4 weeks, we have a morning call from 6:15 a.m. until 7 a.m. 6:15 a.m. until 7 a.m. 45 minutes in the morning where we do group exercises, we do tasks together to raise our vibration, to get us ready for the day, to set us up. Because you have this thing called your vibrational set point, the point of attraction. And when you wake up in the morning, this is the ideal time to set your point of attraction for the whole day. So those things you do, your morning routine, really matters. So we do things like meditations, journaling, different practices, things that I've learned from traveling all around the world, studying with great masters. I was out in India learning breath work and meditation from these monks, and bringing all of this stuff into this program so you can just get the best of it. My 13 years personal development experience, and I just give you everything that you need. Now, if you are not a morning person, you can watch the replays at your own convenience. But I do really suggest, make a stand. Try and get up at 6:15 a.m. Set the habit, and you'll see it has so many benefits when you can create this morning routine at the same time every day. It's really, really powerful. So if you're not a morning person, don't worry about it. You can, of course, watch the replay. But if you are a morning person, or if you want to be, or if you're just open to trying it, I really recommend get on the live calls if you can. Again, if you're going to be opting into the recorded version of this program, you can watch them at whatever time you want. But I'd still suggest go for 6:15. Everybody take a deep breath in and out. Beautiful. We also have a private support and chat group. This is where we put all the recorded calls. We upload them as soon as we can, so you can rewatch them as many times as you want. And also you can ask any questions. We can just connect with each other, because the beautiful thing about group programs is, you know, that everybody who's on that program, you have something in common with. So these people can become your best friends. They could become your business partners, your boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives, who knows? You know, you all have something in common. And we run lots of events. We run retreats all around the world. So I would love, once you get connected, if you want to come hang out with us, we can travel the world together. We can really build this community, because community is so important. To me, it has changed my life, and I love being a part of these kind of masterminds and these things with these really high vibrational people. And if you have watched this to now, I know you are one of those kind of people. So I would love to invite you to come and join us for this 4-week self-alignment program. So if you're thinking, Luke, how does it work? Well, really, really simple. All you need to do is message me. And I just want you to message me with the answer to this question. Are you ready to find out who you really are? If you would love to know the exact details about this, how much it is, and when it starts, just message me with the answer to this question. Just say, Luke, I'm ready to find out who I really am. Luke, I am ready to get aligned. Luke, I am ready to get deeply connected with myself. I want to be activated. Whatever you feel like, just share with me your truth. I'm really looking for some fantastic people to join this program, and just for us to spread this message and help as many people as possible become aligned, become connected, because the world is waking up faster than ever. And I see these visions. I'm so blessed to see these visions. And we're creating this ripple effect that's spreading out across the whole world. And when you are connected and aligned and express the fullness of who you are, whether it's speaking on stage or making videos or playing guitar or dancing or making art or creating online courses or writing a book or whatever it is for you, being a great manager in your job, being a good family member, good mom, dad, sister, brother, like whatever your fullest expression of you is. Maybe you want to start charities and help people who really need it. When you start doing that, the ripple effects you'll create are enormous. So just message me, say whatever you feel to. I would love to get connected, and I'll send you all the details of exactly how it works, how much it is, when it starts. And I'd love to have you join us. It has been my absolute pleasure. If you would like to email me, you can email me at luke.scott@lukescottofficial.com, or you can just comment below, or you can send me a direct message on any of my social media platforms, luke.scott@lukescottofficial.com. I just want to leave you with this one last powerful message. And just thank you so much for giving me your time, for watching this. I hope you found it useful. Please do share this with anybody that you think could use this. I have all sorts of different programs that can really help people. But this 4-week self-alignment program is one of the deepest dives that we can possibly go on. So I'd love to leave you with this. We live in the most incredible time that there has ever been on this planet. The opportunities for us now, this is something our ancestors only dreamed of. We are so free. If you are watching this right now, if you have an electronic device, if you have internet, you are so free compared to any other period in history. And your possibilities, your power is infinite, literally infinite. You are pure source energy. You are pure light, love, channeled through a human body. And when you tap into that, everything will change for you. Everything will change for you when you get aligned. And you know what you need to do. You know if this is right for you, or you know what your next steps are. Nobody needs a guru. No one needs a mentor. No one needs a coach. We can do it all by ourselves. But getting a coach or a mentor or a guide or a guru, that just makes things happen so much faster. We can really collapse the timelines. We can do 6 years of work in 6 months or in 4 weeks. Just imagine what we can do together. every single day on a call in the morning for 4 weeks, plus the evening webinars, plus the accountability. It would be incredible. And if you're interested, we can also throw in some one-on-one sessions too, if they're still available. Once they're booked out for me, they're booked out for me. I only have a limited number of those. I just really want to honor you for showing up in the fullness of who you are. You are incredible. And I'm so excited for you and your journey. And whether you decide this program is right for you or not, I'd love for us to connect. I'd love for you to message me and just let me know how you found this training. Let me know what's going on in your life. And I'm sure we've been brought together for a reason. My name is Luke Scott III. Thank you for listening. I wish you the best day, night, best life. You totally deserve it. And you have absolutely, totally got this. Keep being the incredible person that you are and shine as brightly as you can so those other shiny people can find you.